Chris Prue for Outside on Location. We've made our way up to Great Glen Trails in Pinkham Notch, New Hampshire, here with Nate Harvey. Nate, this is an incredible venue, and you guys offer some of the area's most kind of spectacular outdoor activities for families.
I kind of want to step out of the frame, Chris, without moving my feet and show the views. Yeah, it's beautiful at the base of Mount Washington and 25 minutes outside of North Conway, where we normally are at your studio.
You know, I always overestimate the time it takes to get up here. I drove up from North Conway, and I'm always here like 20 minutes early because it is a really short drive from the North Conway area up through beautiful Pinkham Notch and the Northern Presidential Range.
Yeah, so you land here at the base of Mount Washington where the Auto Road is and the Outdoor Center coming into our 30th winter, but we'll talk about that in the fall. Right now we're focused on biking and kayaking. Those are my true loves and what we're offering here for activities this summer.
All right, we're looking at the Northern Presidentials. I do notice in the back there are some carriage roads. One of the great activities you offer is mountain biking. How do people go about that?
Yeah, we built these trails for cross-country skiing and then resurfaced them for biking in the summertime. Super family friendly. Strollers, trailers, tag-alongs. We've got bikes for all sizes. You just show up and grab a ticket if you have your own bike. If you'd like to make a reservation, you can do it online on the website.
It's turnkey. You make it easy because mountain biking, it can be hard if you're a beginner because you have to know which trails to go on, which trails are right for your ability. You have to have the gear. You come to Great Glen Trails and everything is right there for you.
Yeah, when you make that reservation, it includes your helmet, your trail pass, your bike, the map, and a little push out the door. And you never have to cross any highways here. It's super safe, private system. Just really scenic, awesome riding.
And you cannot beat the backdrop. So you come out here. If you come out here in June, maybe the lupin are in bloom, and you can take your hard-earned selfie on the corner of the field. The Presidential's in the background.
The most popular rental, Chris, is the 2-hour rental,
yeah,
because then you can pack more stuff into your day. If you're on like a big tour circuit and you've got to get it all done between Vermont and the coast of Maine, 2-hour bike rental, go up the Auto Road, and then jump into kayaks. No, you don't see any kayaking in the backyard here, so we transport folks to the river or to the venue.
And what is the venue?
It depends. It depends on the river flow, depends on the participants, depends on the day of the week. We use some really nice scenic spots. The whole focus of our kayak tours is around the wildlife.
Yep.
So we keep our group sizes really small and quiet. Again, just like the biking, very family friendly. Tandem kayaks, canoes, individual kayaks, no experience necessary. We do all the work. We're taking you to the river, putting you on the water, showing you how to paddle, showing you the wildlife, and bringing you home safe.
What do you like about paddling? What's the joy of it?
I think it's the relaxation, which is probably the number two that people ask for when they come here. Is I want to see a moose, I want to relax, I want to swim.
I just want to chill.
Yeah. So I like to kind of go with the flow, let the water do the work, learn about the hydrology. It's mellow.
Yeah, and also it does get hot up here during the summer months sometimes. It's a great way to beat the heat.
Yeah, you can always splash yourself while you're in the boat. I did it yesterday on some guide training, and we always leave room for a swim break.
What are some of the things that you've seen on these trips? You mentioned wildlife viewing.
Otters, beavers, foxes, moose, deer, black bear are making a big comeback, so that's kind of neat to see one from afar. And then all of the birds, Chris. Over 230 species migrate through here every year. So bald eagles and geese and great blue heron and kingfishers, mergansers, and as you may have seen in some of our literature, possibly the river zebra.
I don't know what that is, but
jump on a trip.
You'll have to get on a paddling trip with Great Glen Trails Outdoor Center. We're talking with Nate Harvey. So Nate, how do people reserve for paddling trips?
We encourage folks to book online ahead of time, maybe one day, maybe 1 month. Depends on, if you know your schedule, you're going to stay here at the Glen House on site and you're packing your 3 days, just book the trip.
Yep.
So you don't get skunked because it's very small group sizes.
But if you are staying in town, seeing this for the first time and think, hey, that might be a fun thing to do while we're here, give you a call.
Call, walk in. Sometimes you can get lucky, walk in at 10:30 and get on that 12:30 trip.
Follow these guys on Facebook too, because I always see you posting, hey, we have an opening on a paddling trip this afternoon.
Right, yep, that's how tight it is. We try to keep it really small groups, that's the focus, and get some sun.
Well, let's get back to this beautiful mountain venue, these great trails. That lends itself to some fantastic events. Tell us about your calendar.
Yeah, I know you've actually hung out and done some of our walking and running series, both in the spring and fall. Those can be seen on the website, the dates. We have a summer bike series that's super family friendly. And then a big one coming up is the Black Fly in My Eye trail run on June 8th. That's just around the corner. And you can do that with teams or individual. All the details are on the web. Fun band, barbecue, like it's the whole thing, hanging out.
You guys do it right. You involve these great activities, but you always wrap a party around it.
This right here, Chris, is the 24 Hours of Great Glen. It's our 24th. Moat Mountain's a title sponsor. Again, they're delicious. They're here to support us the whole way. And it's the 2nd and 3rd of August. It's going to be a blast.
That is a blast. It took a hiatus for a few years, and it's back, and it seems as popular, if not more popular than ever. The biking community is really, they're rallying around this party every year.
It's as much of a hardcore cross-country endurance event as it is a laid-back, family-friendly 72-hour party in the field. Everybody camps out.
Yeah.
There's like games and stuff going on all weekend. Free kayaking on the pond. Some really cool elements that we get going here, and you can see that on the website.
One of the things that I think of when I think of Great Glen Trails is you guys are like a family here. You have people who have been coming here for generations now, enjoying these trails, and a lot of that starts with volunteering.
True, yes. We couldn't do a lot of these events without the volunteer efforts. Locally, and folks travel to do it. You know, as people come in and enter for the 24-hour race, they're always bringing someone with them as a support crew, and that person will volunteer some time and help run the event. From parking to registration and just being here to support it, we're always accepting volunteers, and there's always a link to click on that too on the website. We're focusing on the website. It's a beautiful website.
And it's greatglentrails.com.
Sure.
Sister attraction of Great Glen Trails is the Mount Washington Auto Road located just across the street. We've caught up with Megan Moody-Schwartz, who's going to tell us about how you can experience the Auto Road. Thanks for joining us today, first of all, in this beautiful setting. Not too bad, huh?
You know, the office view is a lucky one.
Yeah, well, when you see Mount Washington from North Conway or any of the surrounding towns, you can always see that summit. It's so alluring, so inviting. And one of the ways you can get up there, you've seen the bumper sticker, is via the Mount Washington Auto Road. So what are the options for getting up there?
That's great. So the Mount Washington Auto Road is actually America's oldest man-made attraction. We're entering our 163rd season this year. And so we are a 7.6 mile toll road to the summit of New England's highest peak. You can either drive yourself, bring the family, bring the dog, visit the sign at the top, the famous sign, and the state park and the Mount Washington Observatory. And you can also, if you don't want to drive, we can drive you. So we offer 2-hour guided tours where you have some awesome and talented characters who know the history and the road itself more than anybody else. And they share their experience along the way. And then you get to, you know, adventure around the top, and then we'll drive you back down.
Both options have their advantages. I like the guided tour, actually, because you don't have to worry about driving. Both people, or however many people are in your party, can have their eyes on these amazing views. Yep. And there are just so many just jaw-dropping moments along the road where you're around a corner and you're like, oh my goodness. It's like you can't even believe you're in the Northeast.
There is a oh my gosh corner tagged on the road as you go by what is Jefferson right behind us.
Yeah, it is absolutely beautiful. And the attraction of the Auto Road, it's not just the summit itself. There are so many kind of things to stop and see along the way.
You're right. It's just like everything else. It's about the journey. So we have different pull-offs along the way. If you choose to drive yourself, we have an audio guided tour, so you can still learn about the history and ecology around you. You go through 4 different ecological zones as you drive up the Auto Road. So you'll see the changing of the trees, different flora and fauna. You'll see some wildlife along the way, and there's so much to take in.
And it's not easy to keep the road this way either. One of the things I love is there's actually a museum behind the stage office that shows kind of the history of the Auto Road along with some of the vehicles that have driven in the past.
I almost think of it as a transportation history museum, because we have, you know, everything back from a carriage that was brought up with 8 horses at a time up the Auto Road, predating cars, and then through the history of transportation to now. And so, you know, all those different vehicles are so wonderful. There's a lot of history about our events and different first ascents on the mountain as well. Yep. Being the first to do something on Mount Washington is definitely appeal for a lot of people.
Yeah, you guys actually have an event that specializes in just that thing.
Yep, it's coming up this Saturday, Saturday of Memorial Day weekend. It's called Alton Weagle Day, and it's our day of first ascents. So before we open the Auto Road for that first big Saturday of the season, Folks will submit different ideas to ascend the road for being the first. So this year, someone's going to deliver a pizza to the summit for the first time.
Wow.
Darth Vader visited us last year and walked up in full costume the whole time. Someone played ping pong. Nate, who you talked to earlier, drove a kayak trailer full of kayaks backwards up the auto road.
Wow.
At one point. So
very impressive. But the events don't end there. I know you guys have a full calendar throughout the year. Let's start with Memorial Weekend. This is kind of the beginning of the auto road summer.
Yes, definitely. So we are open for daily operations now. The auto road opens at 9. You always want to check what time it closes. It just depends on the light in the year. So around 4 or 5 to go up the auto road itself. We have a road status page that you can always check on our website where all that information is available. And it's always weather dependent because it's Mount Washington, which is home of the world's worst weather. So it's always good to check in on the road status, but open daily to the public.
Very good. And you have a full calendar of events. You mentioned the auto road, the hours depend on light, but even that isn't true because there's a couple of days every year that you open early for sunrise and late for sunset, right?
That's true. So there's 2 mornings and 2 evenings in the summer where you can come and experience the most memorable sunrise or sunset of your life. So again, you can drive yourself or you can take a guided tour and just take in everything as far as to the Atlantic Ocean, up to Quebec. And the colors that you see are not something that we get to see in the natural world often. So
it's nature's painting for sure.
We also have our kind of iconic races up the auto road itself. There's the Mount Washington road race where folks run up, and then later in the season, Tin Mountain hosts their biggest fundraiser of the year, which is the bicycle hill climb.
And that attracts cyclists from all over the country looking for what is North America's toughest hill climb.
Yep. And then we also host events for other partners like the Mount Washington Observatory. We couldn't do our job here and provide safe passage up the auto road without their live updates of weather and conditions and reporting. They host their big fundraiser and after party in our event field. It's called Seek the Peak, happening in July. And it's just this awesome community event. Everyone's super excited. They've fundraised, they've hiked. There's a bunch of vendors, there's music, there's prizes. Really feel good. So definitely check that event out. I know registration is still open.
And for the second year in a row, Seek the Peak will be a stop for the Get Outside tour. So look for Outside to be visiting and stirring up the fun as well. So
perfect. We'll see you there.
You will see us there. Megan Moody Schwartz, thank you so much for joining us. We're here at Great Glen Trails and the Mount Washington Auto Road. Make sure, get up here. It's just a short drive from North Conway and other surrounding towns. Route 16 in Pinkham Notch, New Hampshire. And the websites are
mt-washington.com and greatglentrails.com.
easy enough. You're watching Outside.